The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Welcome back to Probably a Podcast. Guys, who am I? I'm a changed woman. I have my amazing husband here with us as well. He is going to help us break down none other than my birth story. So stay tuned. I've got Sweet Baby Daisy in her bassinet right in front of us. So if we have to take a little break, if things seem a little edited, they might just be because she's the boss. My favorite thing that James used to say to me was, what,
You the
James?
boss.
You the boss.
You the boss.
But no longer.
Well, no, there's just two bosses now.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Picasso.
I'm
like
out.
it.
I'm outnumbered.
Okay, so we can dive into the birth story. I figured we'd kind of back it up a little bit and also discuss the couple days leading up to the birth. But boy, it was everything that I was not expecting. And I think I mentioned, which is good, I think I mentioned that I was not afraid or nervous for birth, which is crazy because my whole life, like really, truly my whole life, I've been really afraid of birth, even as a small child.
Why? What about it?
Well, as a small child, I obviously, like, as soon as I figured out that babies come out of your vagina, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
I was just very stressed out about that and, like, did not like the idea of that. And then, of course, Hollywood makes birth seem so crazy and scary with, you know, screaming and pain and whatever. And then I think probably in my early 20s and stuff, I was just like, man, I can't believe people get pregnant, but then they, like, have to have the baby. Like, being pregnant, okay, but like, you have to have the baby. Even in my 20s, like, I was scared of birth. I think the only thing that started shifting my brain was, thank God, if you can, like, if you have anyone in your life that will let you in a room when they give birth, like, do that. Because watching Taylor give birth to Walker helped so much from, like, a squeamish, gross standpoint. And we can talk to you too about the actual birth. But when you watch a woman give birth from her vagina in person, it can't just be like a video, because then I think I'd still be like, ugh, gross. When you watch someone that you love and adore give birth, it changes your whole perspective in the way that you're like, wait, this isn't gross at all. This is so beautiful. So that helped. And then watching Taylor give natural birth at home with no epidural, and she was like a boss. Like, she was so calm and collected, and then, like, just didn't, I don't know, she was so prepared for it. And we've talked about that a million times on the podcast, but that helped me not be as scared for birth either. And so I just, like, wasn't nervous. I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And then I got
You had more prep going into this than I did.
Well, yeah, I'm also a woman. What do you
No,
mean?
I mean your experiences.
Yeah, of course.
I've never seen, girlfriends or, being there.
course.
I mean, I wouldn't have a reason to.
But you also you don't have to give birth. So you had some nerves, I'm sure. But, like, I'm talking about the perspective of someone that had to birth a child. Like,
know.
I just wasn't nervous. And I'll say this, and I'll lead with this, and then we'll back it up to, like, we can start, like, when my mom came into town the weekend before. I will say, and I'm going to put it on the record, I fully thought, and I never spoke it into existence. Maybe I fucking should have. Okay, maybe I should have manifested it. I fully thought that I would be one of those annoying bitches that, like, achoo, oops, I sneezed out my baby, like, 20 minutes pushing. Like, I don't know why. I think just because my pregnancy, I know you guys will be like, what do you mean your pregnancy was like easy? But, like, all things considered, all the random ailments I had, like the rashes and the eye thing and the all the stuff, that was kind of like Shannonisms, that wasn't really like Shannon pregnant. It just fucking sucked because I was also pregnant, and so you can't take as many medicines and whatever.
But doesn't every woman go into thinking, or at least hoping, that they're just gonna pop it out in 10 minutes?
No, I think a lot of women are really stressed, a lot of anxiety surrounding them, and they're like, what's going to happen? I really was so delusional. Like, I was like, and I also, you hear of that. I know people, I have friends that are like, oh my God, I barely made it to the room. I didn't even have an epidural. Like,
that's true. I mean, you got me also delusional as well, because, I was pretty optimistic when we walked in.
Yeah,
it would be in and out.
I just thought this is just going to be a no-brainer, because I think my pregnancy was relatively, like, other than the placenta previa and all that kind of stuff, which cleared itself up, I think I just thought, like, everything's been coming up roses, coming up daisies for me. Like, why wouldn't I just have a nice, easy birth, So all that being said, my mom gets into town. I was convinced. One thing that I was for sure convinced about, and this was so fucking delulu of me, I was like, I'm obviously going to have this baby early. Like, I'm not going to go to my due date.
Well, yeah, think about that time where we were going around the room with everyone saying,
Guessing.
What date do you think? And I think I said the 3rd, the 4th of September. I was like, every baby comes early, don't they?
People were guessing like the 2nd of September, like August 29th. Like, I had really started putting hold on stuff like the last week of August because I was like, she could come anytime. My due date was 9/9, which is when I had her. So it's just crazy that I really, that was a mistake on my part.
Yeah.
I don't even care about me thinking that labor was going to be easy. That was just me being like hopeful. I really messed myself up with convincing myself she'd come early. It made that last week feel like a month. And my pregnancy hasn't felt like that long and tedious to me, but that last week.
Yeah, you were over it.
I was so over it, but I'm like, I don't know why. I wasn't like.
But you were only over it because, you convinced yourself.
Correct.
You were 100% going to give birth the week before.
Correct.
That was the only reason why. If you had just stuck with 9/9 in your head,
I wasn't
you would've
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was like, oh, I can't move this last week. It's miserable.
Well, sometimes you were.
Okay, well, yeah, but that I was also just 40 weeks pregnant. But
Yeah.
like, I mean to say, like, I mentally fucked myself because I was like so ready.
You're an optimist, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We were all optimists going into this.
Yeah, I mean, I thank God I almost made my mom change her flight to like 4 days earlier. I was like, you should get here sooner than you think.
Yeah,
And then,
in case she comes out in the car ride.
Yeah, right. LOL. Okay, so fast forward. So my mom comes the Saturday before. I had her on Tuesday the night. She comes on Saturday. We're on baby watch. We're out walking. We're curb walking. I'm doing all the things, and nothing is happening. I also just intuitively, I just knew nothing was happening. Like, I feel like as a woman, you just kind of know when things are shifting. I said, this shit nothing's happening. I feel the exact same. And I had opted out of, so around 37 weeks, everyone might be different with their doctors. Around 37 weeks, they start offering you cervix checks, which is where they go in to see if you are dilated or if you are effaced or, all the things to do with like maybe labor possibly starting. Now, I did it one time at 36 or 37 weeks, I can't remember. And I told myself I would just do it once out of pure curiosity, but I didn't want to psych myself up. I've seen so many videos where women are like, I got checked every week because you have an appointment when you're pregnant past 37 weeks. You have an appointment every single week. And they offer you the cervical check and a membrane sweep. A membrane sweep is where they go in and the doctor basically just like irritates and like scratches on your cervix.
Brutal.
To
really
try
brutal.
to get you to contract and to tell your body like, oh, we should contract and go into labor. I knew I didn't want to keep doing those either because I just have seen so many videos of women that go in and they get checked and you could be 2 centimeters dilated 3 weeks before. And then you could literally stay 2 centimeters dilated for 3 weeks and keep going to the checks and keep doing the sweeps and nothing happened. And so I didn't want to I was trying to protect my mental sanity. I was like, I don't want to hype myself up, and then nothing happened. Thank God I didn't because literally nothing happened. So yeah, that was a good call on my part. But I got checked. I was 0 centimeters dilated, nothing. I was 0, 0, 0 across the board. I was like, okay. So then didn't get checked on the 38 weeks, didn't get checked on the 39 weeks. 40 weeks rolls around. My mom has been in town for 3 days. Nothing's happening. We're like, okay. My mom's like, every night I'm going to sleep. Like, I do not want to wake up one more fucking day pregnant.
But people do. I mean, I had friends texting me and I didn't tell you of those who did, but some of them said, oh, my wife gave birth 2 weeks late or 7 days late or 10 days late. So in my head, I didn't want to say anything to you because I didn't want to put
that's kind
in your head. But
that's kind. And I'll tell you what, your first baby almost extremely, I was going to say almost everyone, but I don't know, extremely common to hold on to the baby longer because your body's never done it. Yeah. Your body's never, the second baby they say comes quicker, the third baby, all the things.
Body hope so.
Same. But basically I was just being really dramatic and I was being really annoying, and people on the internet probably thought, because I'd post still pregnant, you guys, my due date wasn't even here yet.
Funny. Even my mates back home were saying, I feel like Shannon's been pregnant for 2 years.
Well, I was being really dramatic online, being still pregnant. And it's I wasn't even at my due date yet. So everyone's probably like, well, yeah, you're still pregnant. You're not at your due date yet. But okay, so fast forward, it's Monday the 8th. I get checked. She's like, you're 2 centimeters dilated, 70% effaced. And she does a membrane sweep. Kill me. She's like, go home. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hear me out, doc. And this is going to sound crazy. I can't have this baby on 9/11. She was like, you know what? We hear that all the time, but you know what the doctor said to me? And I just have to say, okay. She goes, I find that so interesting for your generation. I was like, to care about 9/11, the biggest American tragedy? What do you mean? And she's like, well, like your generation, like, she's like, of course I remember where I was for 9/11, but it's just interesting to me when people like your generation don't want to have their baby on 9/11. I thought, how young does this doctor think I am? Doc, excuse me, I know you have my charts, but as far as the aesthetics, like, how old do I look to you? What generation do you think I'm in? Gen Z? Do you think I'm Gen Z? I was like, no, gosh, I remember exactly where I was. It's such an important day to me. You know, hey, Brian, it's me, Jules. It's not looking good. Like, what do you mean? Like the voicemail, like everything. Like, no, I can't have this baby on 9/11. Anyways, I says to her, also, Doc, I don't want to be pregnant anymore. And she said, okay. And I really was trying to not get induced, but I just intuitively had this feeling. I said, I'm going to give birth on 9/11. I've talked about it too much. I've said too much. It's 2 days after my due date. It feels like that's what would happen. And I would just be like, dang. So I was like, why not just get induced on my due date? Why not? Also, things I didn't realize. Your doctor is either on call or not on call. I love my doctor. I wanted my doctor to deliver my baby, right? And I didn't realize that, like, she's like, yeah, so I'm on call Monday and Wednesday. So the 9th and the 11th. And I was like, oh. So I was like, okay, so what happens if I go into labor on like Tuesday or Thursday? She's like, well, if I'm around, I'll try. Like, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that this is a job for her. Like,
yeah, she can't work 24/7.
She's not just here 24/7. So I was like, oh, wow. So she gave me the option. Well, she said, go home and see if the membrane sweep, makes you feel any type of way. If not, let's just go ahead. If you want to, she gave me the option to schedule an induction on my due date. I said, yeah, let's schedule it. So I scheduled the induction, and I went home, absolutely no signs of natural labor. And I just knew there wouldn't be.
Is there a world though that you could have been induced, like if you wanted to, a week before?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, these days doctors love to get you in and get you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. She might have, I don't know. She might have been like, why? Now, you guys know I live in a constant state of suspicion. I'm always skeptical about anything that promises some huge miracle overnight, especially when it comes to beauty stuff. Like, we've all been sold the quick fix before, and that's why I love Nutrafol. You guys know I've been taking Nutrafol for years and years. I'm here to tell you it's not about hype. You guys have seen my hair growth journey. It is seriously, I'm just going to say, one for the books, baby. Full bob, extensions in my head for 11 years to natural, long, thick hair. Just really never thought I'd see the day. But it's all about a daily routine that supports hair health from within over time, and you do have to stay consistent with it. Now, Nutrafol, they have different formulas. They have the women's formula, the men's formula, the postpartum. I'm taking the postpartum one because postpartum hair shedding is such a thing, and this has helped my hair shed a little bit less. I mean, I feel like you can't escape all of it from when you have a baby. Like, you just can't. But the difference in the amount I'm shedding from, some of my other friends or people that I've talked to about not taking Nutrafol or something like this, then it's a difference. And I really like that it feels tailored to you with these formulas, not just a one size fits all kind of thing. They've got all different formulas for different life stages, lifestyle factors, which I really think makes a difference. Now, Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it is also the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Their supplements are peer reviewed, they're NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested to measure improvements in hair growth, quality, and strength. Now, adding Nutrafol to your routine is easy. You just order online, no prescription needed, and they have automated deliveries plus free shipping, which is amazing. So you can stay consistent. Like I said, consistency is key. For me, I didn't see results for about 6 months. That's just the honest truth. But once I did see results, I was hook, line, and sinker. I was not going to stop taking this. It was amazing. And some people see results as soon as 3 months. So it could be, okay? You could be faster than me. So let your hair be one less thing that you worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code PROBABLY. That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code PROBABLY.
What was interesting as well is we didn't, for the last 2-3 weeks, we didn't actually know the size of Daisy. Did we? We didn't get her measured for some reason. It just slipped our minds, or they didn't do it.
Comment below. I am so curious, and I almost asked my Instagram this, but then I was like,
because that could have changed things.
I'll save it for the birth story.
Yeah.
Okay. Comment below. In my mind, and also Courtney, you tell me what you think. In my mind, I have feel like I have always heard everyone be like, my baby's measuring XYZ, or I got induced early because my baby was measuring like this, or they really wanted me to make sure that I held on to her because she was measuring really small.
Exactly.
I hear people say that kind of stuff all the time. Like, my baby was measuring this, my baby was measuring that. So I think it was 36-week appointment, maybe 37, whatever my last ultrasound was. I want to say 35 to 36.
It was exactly. I think it was sooner. It was even before that, because she was measuring like 6. She
was 4 pounds, 4 pounds, 8 ounces.
Right.
It had to be 35 weeks or something. It was my last ultrasound, and I looked at my upcoming schedules, and I had said, oh, is that my last ultrasound? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because at that ultrasound, they had said, she's in the 45 percentile. It's the only time you want your baby to be right on average, like 50 percentile is average, whatever. I was like, cool, for size. And she's like, yep, she's measuring 4 pounds, 8 ounces right now. And I was like, cool. Obviously, I wasn't stressed about that because I had 5 more weeks for her to those last 5 weeks is when they just like gain weight, So I'm like, cool, sounds good to me. And then I never got measured again. Like obviously the doctor, and I asked the doctor at maybe 38 week, I said, do I not get measured anymore? And she said, there's so much room for error at the end. And that is true. I have confirmed that, like, they really can get it wrong. A lot of the times they can think you have a smaller baby than you have. They can think you have a bigger baby than you have. Like, there's just so much room for error. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I just thought that I would know more about her size or whatever. And maybe it's for the benefit of mothers. They've decided to not like get it in their head that they're gonna have a big baby or a small baby, whatever. But I have a girl that I follow on Instagram that literally just posted that she gave birth like 2 months ago. And she just posted that she opted for a C-section because she has like a narrow birth canal, or I don't know what her reasoning was, but she was like, my baby was measuring really big, so I opted for a C-section. And I was like, so she got measured. Anywho, I didn't get measured. So that's that. And then it's the night before. They tell me, we might have you scheduled for the nighttime induction, or we might have you scheduled for the morning. I get my email and they say, you are scheduled for 5 a.m. for an induction. And so you need to be here at 4:30. Guys, I live 30 minutes away from the hospital. So that means we had to wake up at like 3:45, but we were, it's an exciting wake up call. I did have this like last final hope that I did all the like wise tales, like vinegar, balsamic vinegar, and took a bath with clary sage oil and evening primrose, and like all the curb walking and everything. I knew that night, I said, I'm not waking up with my water breaking. I'm going to get induced. So we wake up, we go to the hospital. It's exciting. My mom's with us. James is there. And so to get induced for vaginal labor, they give you Pitocin, which is a synthetic version of oxytocin.
And what time did they give you that? About 6?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
6:30.
So this is great. So I texted Mary Carl and I asked her some question. I can't remember. And she was like, let me check my notes. And I was like, oh, let me check my notes. So she sent me this not screenshot, but a copy and paste of like time-stamped in notes when she went into labor. And I thought, that's genius, because one, I know everyone says that they forget their birth story, and that's why you should do it pretty quick. Daisy's 2 weeks old in a couple of days. So like, this is kind of quick, but like most people try to record it like a week after because you just forget everything. And I'm looking at these notes that I wrote down, and I definitely would have like forgotten a ton of it. So shouts out Mary Carl. That was a great idea. She didn't even tell me you should do this. I just thought that was smart that she did that.
Wait, were you taking notes whilst you were giving birth?
Yes, in labor. Well, I'll tell you when they stopped. You can tell.
Yeah,
there's an abrupt stop. There's an abrupt stop. Okay, so came in at 4:30. And then by 5:30, I was in the delivery room, which was huge, by the way.
Yeah, it was massive. I thought, is this where we're sleeping?
Yeah, that's not where we were sleeping.
No.
When they moved me up to postpartum,
I thought, what's everyone moaning about? All these dads being like, oh, wait till you see the bed. And I thought, this is
yeah,
deluxe.
It was huge.
I was like, baby, we got the VIP room.
Yeah, I actually was like, check out the other rooms. Are we VIP or what? I think they were all this big.
I was like, there's even a bath.
Yeah, there was like there was a birthing tub in case you wanted to, labor in the tub. I obviously did not make it that far because I was like, give me that epidural now. But came in at 4:30. Then by 5:30, I was in the labor and delivery room. She checked my cervix at 5:45. I was 3 centimeters dilated and 70% effaced. So that was when I first entered. That was like what I was. So then she started the drip of Pitocin at level 2. And I felt a very small contraction. So Pitocin, like I said, is a synthetic version of oxytocin. It's what induces labor. And it basically just like tells your body to start contracting. So, and then people do say labor can feel a little bit more intense because you're synthetically like starting it with Pitocin. Contractions can feel a bit stronger. That's just what people say. I've never felt a contraction before this. I would say, yeah. If what they say is true, I feel like that is true. They were really strong. I said I've felt a very small contraction about 5 to 10 minutes in. At 6:40 a.m., my Pitocin was now at a level 6. And I'm feeling period-like cramps in my stomach tightening, but nothing crazy. I'm writing this, LOL. Very manageable, I wrote. Very manageable. The doctor came in and broke my water at 6:50. That was crazy. I was so scared of that. I don't know why, because like I know that they put this big like crochet hook in you.
It wasn't. It was just like a.
Oh, I didn't look at it.
It was just a straight little rod, and then they just.
Oh, really?
Popped it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nothing too aggressive.
I was like, oh my god, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna be bad. Because keep in mind, I don't have any like pain medicine at this point. No, it just like was a little thing, and then I just felt a gush of warm liquid, and she's like, "There's your water," and I was like, "Imagine that." 7 a.m. I feel period level cramps. 30 minutes later, contractions unbearable. Made me throw up. So do you remember that last? So I had like this one last big contraction.
Yeah, sent you over the edge.
And it was so painful. I was like, I'm going to be sick. And then I did get sick. I threw up, which thank God I hadn't eaten anything because they told me I wasn't allowed to eat anything. Because our meal the night before was spaghetti, which was so crazy. Why'd I do that?
Yeah, like, but none of that came up.
I must have digested it.
Everything went straight into the baby.
Yeah, she loves spaghetti. I swear we overcomplicate sleep so much. I'm one who does it as well. Everyone wants to talk about the newest gadget, some insane supplement routine, a mattress that costs the same as like a small sedan. And honestly, one of the easiest ways to upgrade your sleep is way less dramatic. It's your sheets, baby. Climbing in, feeling those things slip sliding all over you, and having the best sleep of your life really does start with your sheets. And you don't realize how bad your old sheets have gotten until you finally sleep on really, really good ones. I can't tell you how many people have come, not to flex, but to my house and slept over and then been like, okay, I've never slept better in my life and I'm not even in my own bed. What are these sheets? It's Boll & Branch. I'm talking corners not staying put on old sheets, like fabric feeling weirdly thin, waking up too hot for no reason. Those are all old sheet things, and you need Boll & Branch, okay? Because their signature sheets are made from the finest 100% organic cotton, and they make your bed feel instantly more comfortable, breathable, and luxurious. Now, they're buttery soft right out the gate, and somehow they get even softer over time after washing. I'd heard this about Boll & Branch, and I was like, yeah, I'll see about that. And it's actually true. They really, really do. We wash our sheets once a week, and I'm telling you, they are legitimately getting softer. And it's one of those upgrades that actually does pay off every single night. No setup, no guesswork, no life overhaul, just better sleep when you climb in ready to go to bed. And you can sleep sound with Boll & Branch and get 15% off your first order plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/probably with code probably. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/probably to get 15% off. Exclusions apply. So one thing that I had learned about the epidural was that you need to order it a little bit sooner than you think, because it's not like order it on demand and then they bring you a soda. Like they have to wait for an anesthesiologist. They have to have someone come in. It's like a whole thing. And they said it can take up, my nurse did tell me, she's like, it could take up to an hour to get it once you order it. So if you are uncomfortable, order it. And I was like, okay.
And it was the most busy day of the year for babies giving birth.
Oh my gosh, wait, I have to say this part. This is, I think
Just
I mentioned this.
Perspective.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on the podcast beforehand, because I, of course, I'm being targeted for everything with baby related stuff. The most popular birthday of the year is 9/9. Okay. So 9/9, I know going in is the most popular day to give birth. I think I even mentioned it to my doctor, and she's like, yeah, it's September. It's always busy. They call it like their Black Friday. Like it's so busy in September anyways for labor and delivery. So I guess that it's the holidays, people.
December time, people just get frisky.
So I know also I'm probably on a long list of people asking for an epidural. So as soon as I felt like uncomfortable, I asked for the epidural, and then it took about 20 minutes to get there. And that was like right when I was like throwing up from the pain. And honestly, my contractions, I think, were like 3 minutes apart, and it was really bad.
But hadn't before that, the doctor had come in and said, yeah, okay, so all good. I'll come back at about midday when I think, things will start happening. So in my mind, yes, I'm thinking midday, we're having a baby.
The doctor did say,
this is awesome.
I had gotten checked, and I think I was at I didn't write this down, but once the contractions were really bad, when my last cervix check was at like 7 centimeters and 80% effaced, and the doctor was like, I'll see you at noon. That's probably when you'll be about 10 centimeters and ready to push. And I'm like, okay, sounds good, queen. We're going to have a baby at lunchtime. I get my epidural. You can help me with this part of the story. So, I had been on, I'm on the side of TikTok where everyone's like, advocate for yourself, stand up for yourself, these are your rights, and this is your this, and this is your that. And as you guys know, like, hematoma gate, I just had like a really not favorable situation happen with just like, an amazing dentist, I'm sure, but like a younger dentist, I think. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But all that being said, I've just been very like cognizant to like ask for what I want in regards to like my body, my mouth, my vagina, my belly, all the things.
The important stuff.
You know, all the things James loves and adores about me. So I get my epidural and in walks the sweetest, kindest.
So nice.
Student anesthesiologist.
Says
yeah,
student.
Giant badge, student.
Yeah.
And she's like, hi, I'm here for your epidural. And I see that badge and I know, how will they get any practice if they don't do epidurals?
That is the exact thought that went through my mind. I thought, you've got to start somewhere, but Shannon won't like this girl starting on her.
Yeah. And
I don't know how she's going to say it because Shannon's too nice.
By the way, she's a student. We don't know that was her first time. It could be her 100th
right.
one.
Yeah, she could be almost qualified.
Yeah, exactly. So
risks we weren't wanting to take.
I just got, I says, oh no, I'm not having something like this happen. I also, if you guys know about redheads require more anesthesia. It's a proven fact. Literally my friend that went to anesthesiologist school or whatever you call that, she's like,
not all the time though.
No.
Not all the time.
But most redheads do require this because we literally have a mutation in our genes, the MCR1 gene or whatever. And my friend literally sent me, she's like, we're learning about you in class today. And it was a slideshow and it said natural redheads, mutation gene, blah, 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 blah. We just like, we require at times more anesthesia. Me, I definitely do. With my with Novocaine, when I had my wisdom teeth taken out and I was under anesthesia, when I had my eyelid appointment, they all had to give me more anesthesia to knock me out. Now, here's the thing about giving birth. You don't want to be knocked out, okay? You actually need to be...
You need to feel something.
You need to be able... But there's a tricky line there, right? Okay, so let's go back to the student. So the student walks in. She's like, I'm going to be... I don't know what she could have said anything in the world. I was not listening to her because all I could
she came in to ask you questions. So that's when I thought, okay, so actually maybe she's just doing the prep work. So then she'll tell the boss.
And she might have been. Anyone listening to this might be like, LOL, Shannon, she wasn't going to administer your epidural. I don't know. But she was very sweet and she starts the process of asking me questions, telling me what's going to happen, telling me how it's going to go down, blah, blah, blah. And I look at her and I say, I do not mean this in any way, shape, or form disrespectfully. I am sure you are so wholly capable of doing this. Is there any chance, just because I do see you're a student, is there any chance? And she interrupts me. She's like, do you want a CRNA in here? Absolutely. No worry at all. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, oh my gosh, don't be. No, you're fine.
She was so sweet. But Shannon, bless her, literally started breaking down in tears.
I hadn't cried one time. I start crying because I literally was like, I can't believe I just had to ask her if she could like bring her boss in here. Like I haven't cried in labor yet. I've thrown up from the pain, but haven't cried yet. I cry and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I just really don't want to hurt your feelings. And she's like, you're not. You're really not.
That was a theme of like the whole giving birth day is Shannon kept apologizing to everyone saying, I'm sorry, can you pass me my sick bag? I'm sorry, can you this? I'm sorry. And everyone was like, gosh, you've got a baby coming out. It's just
no worries
okay.
If not, put it on my fucking grave. Like I'm literally giving labor, apologizing.
Oh, it was so funny every time.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I would literally be like about to throw up and I would be like, I'm so sorry. I'm like wasting time. They probably just would prefer me being like, gonna be sick.
Yeah.
But instead I'd be like, I'm so sorry. Can you hand me the plastic tub to vomit in? Okay, so she was so nice. This other lady comes in and she's wonderful. We talk about me being a redhead. I'm like, I usually do need more. She's like, okay. She's like, I'm going to start you on the regular amount. I'm like, perfect. And I did say that. I'm like, don't give me more now, but like, just to be aware, I'm not asking you for like more drugs because I'm like, I need more drugs. I just like might require more. She's like, I can see that you're a redhead. I totally understand. So I get my epidural and I can still feel contractions breaking through. And they're asking me very specific questions. They're like, can you still feel this? Can you still feel this? And I'm like, yes. And the contractions I could still feel. Now that I can feel the two differences, that time they brought me down and the other time, I needed more because I was still like moaning in pain. I was still like, like that was like a breakthrough contraction that you shouldn't feel if you have an epidural. So they were like, okay. So they come in maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes later and they up the epidural. So they up the epidural. I think I still have notes here. I say received the epidural at 8:05 and felt relief in 20 minutes, but still some pain. Redhead things, I wrote, they had to come give me more and a different medicine. I don't know. 9 a.m., I feel no contractions when they come. 9 a.m., I feel nothing. Guys, I feel nothing. I am paralyzed from the waist down and in a way that is just genuinely too numb. They come in to check my cervix twice. I don't like, had my eyes been closed, there wouldn't have been a person in the room. You know what I mean? Like the doctor goes, you can't feel this at all. No pressure, no nothing. I go, not a
You
thing.
couldn't even, like, you literally could not move your legs, nothing. Didn't
understand that it's actual I never understood this when people talked about this. And if you've never had a baby, maybe this can make more sense to you. When people are like, yeah, you have the epidural, but you can still feel it. You're like, what the fuck? I remember thinking like, I don't want to feel it. I don't understand. What they're talking about is you can still like move your feet. Like your feet still go like this, but like you don't feel contractions. You just feel tightening. And then you do feel the pressure is what's so important to feel. You feel the pressure, like the weight of something. It's your baby in your birth canal.
You're in control. You just don't have your pain receptors are just like shut off.
You just don't feel the pain of it, but you feel the pressure so that it's very helpful that when you go to push, you're like, and the contractions, I feel my stomach tightening. I feel the pressure of the baby, push now. When you can't feel anything at literally all, that's a problem. You don't know when to push. You don't know your asshole from your vagina. Like you don't know anything. So basically I'm like, okay, I feel nothing. The doctor's like, that's okay. Nothing, huh? I'm like, nothing. She's like, okay. She comes back. I have a very common symptom of the epidural. It is probably my least favorite part of, it's up there on my least favorite part of labor. I go into intense teeth shattering shakes, you like shiver and shake, and it was uncontrollable. Like I was covered. I think you can see a photo I've posted. Like I'm covered up in blankets. Like it wasn't that I felt cold. Like I just could not stop shaking and teeth just chattering. The next day, my jaw hurt so bad from my like teeth clenching and shattering so much. I said I could not get it to stop. Too much epidural, couldn't feel pressure, couldn't feel a thing.
You then got nauseous.
I then got extremely nauseous.
Like it came in like big waves.
Huge waves. Here is the harsh truth. Okay, I'm going to be your big sister for a second. You can spend all the money in the world on serums and skincare, but if you're stressed and dehydrated from the inside out, your skin is going to show it. I never realized this more than when I gave birth and I just realized my skin needed help, and it all starts from within. That's why I've been so into Peak's Radiant Skin Duo lately. That is because it is about supporting your skin from within. Sometimes you really just got to get in there and figure out what's going on the inside. Now, the duo has two parts: Sun Goddess Matcha and the BT Fountain. The matcha is like my morning reset button. It gives you that clean, steady energy, but it's also packed with antioxidants and feels like such a good foundation for how I want to start the day. And then the BT Fountain is more like beauty hydration, not a sports drink vibe, but like an actual luxe hydration that helps your skin be supported with the skin barrier and gives you that plump, glowy look. Now, I love that they work together. It's really a duo for the ages. One helps calm and reset, and the other helps replenish and rehydrate. It's just one of those routines that makes you feel like you're actually doing something effective instead of just collecting more products on your bathroom counter to slather on your skin. This is changing things from within. It's amazing. So if you'd like to redefine your standard of health, secure 20% off your order and begin your intentional wellness journey today at peaklife.com/probably. That's spelled PIQUE life.com/probably. It's pronounced peak, but it's spelled PIQUE life.com/probably. I was at 10 centimeters dilated. So they were like, it's time to push. I'm so excited. I can't wait. We start pushing. We get nowhere fast. I mean, This is when the clock starts. Let's say I think I was 10 centimeters dilated at noon, just like the doctor probably said I would be at noon. And I was like, we're going to have a baby by lunchtime, 1 p.m. Because like all my friends push for, 45 minutes, an hour. And that's kind of long. Some people push for 20 minutes. Some people push for 2 hours. But like relatively speaking,
I don't think an hour is long. I think I think a lot of people probably do push for 2, 3, 4 hours. Yours was just.
I don't think people push for 4 hours. I do not think people push for 4 hours. I don't.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Comment below if you know a lot of people that have pushed for 4 hours.
Maybe not common.
I don't think it's common to push that long.
But you did take, and this isn't taking away your effort, but you did take a couple of naps.
Okay, so sorry, I gave birth at 6 p.m. I'm saying I pushed for 4 hours.
Right.
I was pushing on and off for 6 hours. Well, but I think I actually pushed for 4 hours.
It took longer because we had to just wait for your epidural to subside.
Had to come back.
And the only way to do that was just like, right, well, you might as well sleep and rest.
Yes.
For it to just.
So the reason they they ended up coming back to lower my epidural amount was, one, because I couldn't feel anything. So it was really hard to like understand when and how to push. And two, my mom, so this is the part that I had to text my mom about. I said, It was very hard and confusing to know when to push. I couldn't feel anything. About an hour and a half into pushing. So I'm already pushing for an hour and a half now with no progress. The doctor came in at one point and was like, let me see you push. And she's like, you need to push harder. And I'm like, it's hard. I don't know when or how. I can't feel anything. She's like, okay.
Which was difficult because it's like the amount of energy you used for those pushes is insane.
You push for 10 seconds 3 times in a row. So you take a deep breath and you push for 10 seconds. And I mean, for 10 seconds. And then they give you a 2-second break and then push again for 10 seconds. And then push again for 10 seconds. So you're 30 seconds of intense pushing, and then you just wait for your next contraction.
And then the contractions were probably at that point like every
minute and a half, 3 minutes.
3-4 minutes.
Not 4. A minute and a half, 3 minutes. So the pushing is very exhausting. So about an hour and a half in, they are like, okay, my mom says this. I am so out of it probably now. I have like no memory of this, and it probably is because my blood pressure was so low.
Yeah, so I saw on the screen.
I don't understand the blood pressure numbers.
I saw your numbers on the screen and I thought, gosh, they're low. And I was surprised. I was like, why hasn't anyone said anything yet? And that was when you were also feeling the most nauseous you'd ever felt. And so immediately, I spoke to your mom. I said, are you saying that her blood pressure? And it was low, like dangerously low. And that's when the guy came in, gave you medicine for that to get your blood pressure back up. That took another, half an hour, 45 minutes to get you to come around again.
Right.
But that was probably at the lowest, I think. You were at the lowest when your blood pressure had gone and you were just...
I had no energy.
Nothing.
I had too much epidural. I had been throwing up. And then my mom has a picture of my blood pressure because she goes, I was going to give that nurse 2 more seconds before I said something. And my mom has a picture of it. My blood pressure was 50/20.
Yeah.
So I asked my mom, I was insane. Like, what does that mean? She goes, 20 is the baseline, like 20, like 0's dead. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so my mom said she didn't have to give the nurse 2 seconds. The nurse immediately called anesthesia back in, said she needs some blood pressure medicine right now. I really don't remember this. I remember they came in and were like, how are you doing? And I was like, bleh, like sick, throwing up, teeth chattering. And they gave me
so out of it.
something to help my blood pressure. And then my mom has notes here. It says at 12 o'clock at noon was when my blood pressure was 50/20. All these times are probably that I'm listing before. Like I started pushing at 12. I don't fucking know. These are just relative. But my mom has blood pressure was 50/20 around 12 p.m. Nurse calls anesthesia back. They give you a shot of something for your blood pressure. The next reading was about 12:20. It was 93/46. At 12:50, it was 105/51. And at 1, it's like dipping in and out. But it basically just goes back up and I feel better again. And then I'm like, oh. And then she's like, you have to keep pushing. And I'm like, kill me. Okay. So I keep pushing. After they fix my blood pressure, they decide we need to fix your anesthesia. You have too much. So they come in and they lower my anesthesia and it's at the perfect amount. I can move my feet. I feel pressure. I don't feel pain. It's what it should have been at all along. But like, it's just a tricky thing, like I need more, but I got too much. It's like, no one's at fault here. It's just like, the qualms of being a redhead. So I then push for, like James said, on and like I say when I tell people the story, I'm like, I pushed for 4 hours because I pushed from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. when she was born. But I did literally they made me take a nap. They're like, you have to take a nap. You have to get your energy back. So at some point I ate a popsicle, threw up the popsicle, and then took a 30-minute nap.
And also at one point you took a nap and you were napping when I could see Daisy's head.
Yes. So
Daisy was chilling in your birth canal for genuinely 2 hours.
It was really frustrating.
Was wild.
Which was probably in there for 4 hours. What was really frustrating was when I got to that point where James and Taylor and everyone's like, we can see her head. I wasn't crowning, but you could see.
Yeah. At that point, I thought, here we go. We could see her hair color, and me and Taylor were like, oh,
yeah. And I was like,
and that gave the whole room. That was a turning point where we finally managed to get hope, because from my side, obviously, I'd never done this before. I didn't really know what was going on. Shannon was pushing. Stuff wasn't going. And, when you're in this room and you've got this nurse and she's doing her job, but she's not the kind of motivator. Taylor pulled me aside and was like, Shannon needs some energy. She needs some motivation.
I had prefaced that I wanted things to be calm and relaxed. And I kind of said that to you guys. I'm like, I want this birth to be calm. And so maybe the nurse was like, okay, I'm going to do what she's telling her people, like be calm, relax. But I think I did need someone to be like, dig deeper, fucking 100%, push. Like
100% every push. Because when you're exerting that amount of force and nothing is happening and the whole room, I mean, we weren't silent initially, but it was pretty subdued.
I asked you guys to be quiet.
Yeah. And so we had a little team talk and we said, we have to rally, guys. We have to get behind Shannon. We have to give something. I had to put my Coach James hat on and I was, saying like 3 more seconds, 2 more seconds.
Yeah, you got this, harder. And I was like, okay, so that did help a little bit, but at the end of the day.
But then again, we were doing that. Then we did that when we started, seeing the head.
2 hours.
2 hours later, we're still doing it, and there was a point where me and your mum were looking at each other, thinking, "I don't know how much longer we can." How much?
I will say this, and I will admit this: I was not going to give up. Okay, I wasn't. I was already too far deep. Okay, I was like, I'm too far gone. I was really hoping, not at the safety of my child. By the way, I kept asking, is the baby okay? Because here's what happens. Here's the common thing that happens, especially with people that it's very common with people that get induced into labor, especially with their first child. You get induced, you labor for too long, the baby's in the birth canal for too long, the baby's heart rate begins to drop. The second the baby's heart rate drops, C-section. They get you in a C-section. You guys, I kept asking because I cared about my baby. I kept being like, is she okay? Is she okay? Because we're going on hours and hours.
Her heart rate was solid.
She's
fine. The whole way through. She was just chilling in your birth canal.
Mommy's about to die. Mommy's blood pressure is 50/20. I'm like, is she okay? They're like, she's fine. I'm like, she was okay. All right. And there was only one time. There was one time where I asked, what's her heart rate? And I was like, a tiny part of me was hoping they were about to be like, this has gone on too long. We have to get you into a C-section, because I wasn't going to say to do it. I was hoping they would tell me, like, you got to go. I was in such a dark place. I wanted them to tell me, we got to wrap it up. You can't do this any longer. You got to go.
There was one point I remember in the whole thing where you hit rock bottom, and I could say that there was nothing, like, even in your eyes, there was nothing behind your eyes. You were you were fully, fully finished, and you were looking for ways out. Yeah.
I was like, how can we, not a C-section's not an easy way out. It's worse to
but something.
I literally said on the podcast, I go, you get an award for vaginal birth, you get an award for a C-section, but you get 2 awards if you push and then end up just having to have a C-section anyways. Like, those women are like the real heroes. And I just didn't want to be that hero. Okay, I did not. I was like, I don't want to have to get a C-section after I've already been pushing for 4 hours.
But you found some more grit and you just dug deep.
So the doctor,
it was insane. I have never seen anything like it in my entire life.
The doctor,
the effort, from the most grueling training sessions, expeditions I've done, where people are just I've never seen anything like what you went through and how you got this baby out. It was just immense.
That was very nice of you to say. Guys, I feel like tax season is one of the only times that all of us are forced to actually look at our full financial picture. It's coming up. I'm sorry to be the ones to tell you, but suddenly you're looking at what you earned, what you spent, what you saved, what you probably should have saved, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But I also kind of love that moment in a sick way, and you guys know this is a finance podcast, but it really gives you a chance to stop guessing and actually get intentional. I'm also seriously simplifying my finances with Monarch. Now, Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts, investments, whatever it is, net worth, and most importantly, your future planning together in one dashboard on your phone or laptop. That's what I really love about Monarch. It's on a bunch of different spreadsheets, a bunch of different apps. I can't keep up with stuff when people try to get me to be better at my finances. I'm like, I need it all in one place. I need it to be user-friendly. I need to be able to digest this without a bunch of financial jargon I don't understand. And Monarch is that. It is amazing. You can feel aware and in control of your finances this tax season and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with code probably, by the way. But let me tell you something. What I like the most about Monarch is that it's not just another app making you stare at your spending after the fact and then feel bad about it. I don't want to know how much money I spent on Starbucks. I don't want to know. Okay. It actually helps you plan ahead. Actionable steps, and then you can see the full picture, your budget, savings, goals, debt payoff timelines, net worth, whatever that may be. And then, like I said, it gives you actionable steps. It helps you make decisions that are actually moving the needle instead of just wondering where all your money went last month and making you feel bad about it. It just feels a lot more proactive than reactive, which is how I've been trying to deal with my finances lately. So I really appreciate that, especially when you're trying to make smart decisions with things like tax refunds or just get more organized in general. You can achieve your financial goals for good with Monarch, the all-in-one tool that makes money management simple. Just use code probably, like I said, at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off at monarch.com, code probably. Basically, if you're familiar with labor and delivery, we did every method that you could possibly think of over the course of 4 hours. We had the handlebars, we had the pushing, we had arching my back, we had crunching my thing. The 3 people in the room, Taylor, my mom, and James, they were all so sore the next day because they were holding my back up and they were holding my thing. Then the number one thing I was not prepared for was a method called tug of war, where they literally bring you a sheet, knotted up sheet. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is she talking about? We're going to play tug of war. The nurse is like, we're going to play tug of war. Give your husband the rope. And we did tug of war to
that
try
was
to
so
push
wild for me.
the baby out.
Like an hour, I'm playing tug of war with my wife and I can see my baby's head coming out my wife's vagina. I was like, what is going on?
No, it was crazy. And so anyways, I'm pushing. The doctor comes in for like the 4th time that day. She comes in and she looks at me and she goes, how are you doing? And I was like, like James said, nothing behind my eyes. And she goes, do you want out? They asked me 2 separate times during my labor if I just wanted a C-section, because I do think you're incorrect. I just don't think people push for 4 hours. Like, and by the way, push on and off for 6 hours. I was there at 10 centimeters.
No, I know for sure. I don't think it's a common thing. People push for 4 hours. I'm sure there's some women who have done.
Maybe I'm just trying to give myself some extra credit here. But the lady in postpartum was like, I see women go into C-sections at half the time. Yeah. Now, maybe that's not up to them. Maybe that's literally because their baby's heart rate drops or something. I don't know. But anyways, the doctor comes in. She sees behind my eyes. She goes, do you want out? And I think about it because I'm like, this is what I wanted her to say to me. I wanted her to say to me, do you like, but it's because she put it in my court. I was like, no.
I thought she was saying, do you want to get this baby out? As in, are you still good to keep pushing?
She was saying, do you want out?
Right.
And I was like, I can't say yes. I need them to tell me you have to go for a C-section. So I looked at her and I go, I want this baby out. I want this baby out of me. And she goes, okay, let's get it out of you. And now I don't know if this is just Tennessee. Courtney is being the sweetest nanny and producer right now. I'll feed you in 1 second, Princess Peach. So basically, the doctor in Tennessee, I don't know how it works in your state. I talked to Jackie when I was telling her my birth story, and she was like, what? The doctor comes in the second you're at 10 centimeters and you push with her the whole time. I'm like, really? With us, it's just like your nurse pushes with you the whole time. And then when you're basically like about to be crowning, then the doctor comes in to do all the like catching the baby, sewing the up, like doing all the stuff. So long story short, she comes in. I'm still at that same point James is talking about. You can see the tip of the baby's head, but I'm not crowning and I'm not progressing and nothing's there. I think the doctor decides in that moment to be really amazing and sweet and give me more time on the busiest day of the year than she probably would have.
She meant business. When she came in, there was so much. She put gloves on. She had these boots on. She was she came in and I was like, oh damn, this is what we need. And she just went in and she was like her forearm was like inside of you, like feeding the baby. I was just like,
she said, what's stalling? Let's see what's stalling. She said, let's see if the baby's face up, face down. She goes elbow deep into me. Literally,
I saw her hand just disappear. I was like,
they asked me twice if I wanted a mirror. I said, no. I said, no, I cannot see this right now.
I was like, Shannon, you don't want a mirror right now. No, you don't want to see it.
And she feels and she goes, there's an ear. She's whichever way you're supposed to be, face down. Face down. She goes, she's face down. She goes, I'm not sure what's stopping her. I think it was just me being so exerted.
And also, her tug of war technique was way better than mine.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, when I was doing the tug of war, in my mind, I had to give you some tension, but I didn't want to freaking pull you off the bed. Whereas when she came in,
she's like, let's do tug of war. I'm like, I've done this song and dance before. Not with her. She was not fucking around, you guys. And she said to me before, she goes, my only thing with tug of war is if you're going to let go, tell me beforehand. And I thought, why the fuck would I let go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause she was literally pulling me off the table to the point that I physically had to go.
Yeah.
Daisy, Patricia Middleton, was brought into this world on tug of war. Okay. That is how she entered the world. It was a beautiful, wonderful thing. Once she decided to come, that was fantastic. I think the doctor and I pushed for, what would you say? 20 minutes, 15?
You and the doctor?
Yeah.
No, longer than that. It was still a good
30 minutes.
30, 45 minutes. I mean, at that point in time...
I don't think it was 45.
I mean, I had no concept of time at that point. So,
anyways, it was probably around 30 minutes.
It was quicker than any previous...
Correct. And then she was here, and I will say, the second... Well, it's so euphoric. Like, I could try to come up with a million different pretty words and crazy words, but there's literally no word to explain what it feels like when your baby comes out of you and they put her on your chest. Like, there's just no words. But the first thing I thought was, when they put her on my chest, she's big. Like, I I had no concept of how big she'd be. And I don't know, I guess I just thought she'd be like a cute little normal sized baby. And she was like, immediately I was like, that's a big baby. Like, it's like her cheeks, like everything. She was just so big. And I was like so thrilled, but I was like, I wasn't expecting her to look like this. Like,
and I was like, now, and then I was thinking, now it makes sense.
Yeah, everyone.
She took so long.
Everyone in the room was like, oh. And so maybe that's also, maybe I wasn't thinking she's big, but I thought her cheeks were big and her lips were big and she's so cute. But like everyone in the room was like, oh, big girl, big girl. And like, not them body shaming my child, like right off the bat, like not her entering this world being body shamed. So basically, yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this makes a little bit more sense. Anyways, I have her on my chest. I get everything I wanted. Everyone was so sweet. Delayed cord clamping, did everything I wanted. It was so sweet. And then I held her on my chest for like 2 hours before they weighed her or anything, because I just like wanted to be skin to skin with her for a while. And then they weighed her.
Which was, by the way, just for anyone giving birth women, that's something that I think
I was really nervous about.
Yeah, but they were cool. Like naturally, they did want to take the baby straight away and weigh her and do all that stuff. And Shannon just said, "Hey, I just want to hold on to my baby for an hour or 2 hours. Is that okay?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure. We'll come back." They were great.
Didn't even flinch.
So definitely ask.
I thought, because I'd been prepped a little bit, that sometimes nurses will be like, I'm going to bring her right back, mama. Don't you worry. Like, they kind of like don't say no, but they don't say yes. They just say like, no, don't worry. She'll be right back. This will only take a second. And I was very like, I only just said it once and I said it really sweetly. Y'all know me. No worries if not. I was like, can I just hold her on my chest for 2 hours before y'all weigh her or anything? And they were like, of course. Like, and then they gave me like a full 2 hours, which was so nice.
Yeah,
and
even I got to do some skin to skin.
Yeah, it was lovely. And then they came in and weighed her. And then, yeah, she weighed 9 pounds, 1 ounce. And we were like, wow,
damn.
She was 22 inches, 21 and a half. So like, let's round up 22 inches long. And
can I give them the stat though?
All of her. Oh yeah, go ahead.
She was
most popular birthday of the year.
110 babies born that day in that hospital.
The next day, the doctor
Daisy
told us
came out number one heaviest baby,
girl.
110. I was like, she is a champion already.
The doctor came in the next day in postpartum. She was like, and I said something like, busy day for you yesterday. And she was like, and all the nurses were talking about it too, because I kept referencing it being like a popular birthday. And they were like, yeah, our nurse actually that delivered her the whole time, she was amazing. She stayed, her shift started at 5 a.m. Her shift ended at 5 p.m. She stayed till 5:45. Like, I don't know what this woman makes in overtime, but it better be so much. She was like such an angel, and stayed past her shift, because right when she was set to leave was when things started really kicking off, pushing. And like, it would have been really hard for me to do a shift change and have someone new in there after I'd been with her for 12 hours. Like, it would have just been tough. She came and got me out of the waiting room, you know?
They're just incredible. I mean, a 12-hour shift of doing that. She does that day in, day out.
And she just like, you could just tell she like loves her job and loves her life. She was amazing.
So impressive.
So anyways, I was so happy. But the doctor comes in the next day into postpartum, and she was like, yep, 110 babies born yesterday. She said at one point, what was the stat? 36 babies born from the hour of 4 to 6 p.m.
Yeah, they would decide to come out at once.
And we did the math, and we were like, it's like a baby every
15 minutes.
15 minutes. Yeah, like, that's crazy. Anyways, she was like 110 babies born yesterday, and Daisy was the heaviest of them all. And I said, you're kidding. And she was like, nope.
Shannon.
She said second runner. Her first runner up was 8 pounds, 8 ounces. I said, not even close.
At some point as well, remember, at some point, because just of like your petite like pelvis, we had to like shift your knees inside, pull your ankles out to change your pelvis, because Daisy was just hitting the top of your pelvis.
Yeah, she goes, we need to shift you a little bit. Daisy's head keeps going into your pelvis bone. I was like, I couldn't really wrap my head around that at the moment. I was just like, whatever. I can't really, now that you're saying that, I'm like, that's crazy.
Limbs are everywhere.
Spring. Oh my gosh. We just spring forward, which I just realized is my least favorite thing now as a parent, but having spring amongst us and the weather, it just always feels like a reset to me. The days get longer, you start wearing lighter layers again, and suddenly you actually want to leave the house and go do things. It's that time of year where everything feels a little fresher, and I always feel like the easiest way to refresh your wardrobe is honestly starting from the feet up. That is kind of like how I start my outfits. I pick the shoes first, and I love it. And that's why I love Sam Edelman. It is where modern American elegance meets really beautiful, trend-forward designs across shoes and handbags. Their spring collection is chock full of pieces, you guys. It feels so polished, but still effortless. It's things that you can wear from a weekday lunch to dinner without overthinking it. Now, this season, you're going to see gorgeous woven textures, airy mesh details, and soft neutrals that really go with everything, which is amazing. Plus pops of spring blues and pinks if you want a little color moment. I am such like a
spring color. Like I love to add color to my spring wardrobe, because in the winter I just feel like we just do such neutral, and I like a little pop of color in the spring when all the colorful flowers are blooming. I love it so much. Now, some of the standout styles right now are the Ruthie Ballet Flat. It's so good. It looks amazing with denim or something more tailored. And then they have the Presley Strappy Kitten Heel Sandal, which is such a sleek, feminine option for spring events. And I just love a kitten heel right now. I just find them really manageable, which I love. And then, of course, you've got the Alley Ballet Flat, which is just one of those timeless staples that you end up wearing constantly and throwing with so many different things. So beyond footwear, Sam Edelman really embraces a full lifestyle moment. From the perfect shoe to ready-to-wear pieces that anchor your whole outfit, you guys can visit SamEdelman.com to explore everything you need for spring and get 15% off with code PROBABLY15. That's SamEdelman.com, SAMEDELMAN.com with code PROBABLY15 to save 15% off.
So yeah, I get her out. Let me think what else. Okay, so now let's talk post-birth. This is the best news of it all, okay? And it definitely, everyone that I've talked to has said, and the doctor said, this is most likely due to me pushing for so long. So I'm holding my baby. The doctor pops her head up. She goes, how about this, Shannon? No tears, no stitches, no rips, no anything. And I'm like,
yeah, that was
my brain. I'm like, how? I thought it was split from top to bottom at that point. But because I pushed for so long, it allowed me to stretch out, I guess, so much. And I did not tear or rip at all. So like I had 0 stitches. So like, my vagina was so not okay, but kind of okay in that one department. Now, the next thing she says to me is, we're going to get really specific here. I'm going to give you guys my whole medical chart. I'm sorry if my in-laws are listening to this. She's like, your vulva and your like whatever, all these different vaginal parts. She's like, you are so swollen, Shannon. She's like, you are so swollen. You're not going to be able to pee on your own. It's not going to work. She's like, we're going to put a catheter in. And now this is something that I kind of assumed everyone got. It's not. You only really get a catheter if you have a C-section. So let me tell you something. I was loving the catheter, okay? Because
you didn't have to move.
I didn't have to move. I was A-okay with the catheter. You're in so much pain after you give birth. The idea that some women, and most likely me next time I have to get birth, would have to just get up to go to the bathroom.
And you were drinking a lot of water.
I was
because that bag was filling fast.
Yeah. I also had 3
and
bags.
You had no idea.
I had 3 bags of fluid as well. But yeah, my mom was like, you are really filling these bags up with these catheter bags. But basically, yeah, I get a catheter because they're like, you're not gonna be able to pee on your own for, a solid like day. They're like, we'll talk about getting it out in the morning. I'm like, okay. Because I gave birth, like I said, 6 p.m. So like, let's just say, and it's not 6 p.m. but I'm not having you guys look at my daughter's birth chart. So why do I care? I don't give a fuck. No, I do. I care. Okay. Around 6 o'clock. So I had the catheter. I'm in postpartum upstairs. Room is much smaller, guys, much smaller. We have an amazing nurse up there. Oh my gosh, like they were such godsends. That first night is such a blur, but still so sweet. Like
postpartum nurses were all incredible. Oh. And the
next day
we had a British one come in. I was like, no way, there is a British nurse. It was such a mind fuck for me.
The nurse comes in the next day that we had that night.
She's like, hello, Shannon, James.
No, she comes in and she goes, guys, guess what? And I was like,
oh, yeah, I thought what's going on?
What? I thought, what? I had the heaviest baby. I already know that.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And she goes, I'm about to go off my shift. Also, shouts out to Nurse Macy. It was her bachelorette. She was going to Cabo, Slay Queen. I hope you had the best time. And she was like, your next nurse is British. And I was like, no way. And she was like, yeah. And it was just amazing. Hannah and Grace, like they were amazing. Grace wasn't British, Hannah was, but am I allowed to say this? Is there HIPAA against me saying the nurses' names? I don't know. They were lovely. We loved them. They were wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hannah was British and they were great. And we only stayed in the hospital one day. I wanted to go home. I really wanted to get out of there, but I thought like they really were going to give a lot of pushback, but I think they were probably we had 110 babies born yesterday. Get the fuck out of this room.
You're also recovering very well. Daisy was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So there was no need for us to.
So they let us live after a day. Now let's get to the nooks and crannies of it. So my vagina is so swollen. My sweet nurse tells me every time she checks me, you were so swollen. Like you were still, because I'd be like, how's that looking? And she's like, way more swollen than most people that just gave birth. I'm like, perfect. Okay. But I have a catheter and I'm living La Vida Loca. Okay. I don't care. I'm like, fine by me. But I will say the epidural wears off and then your options are Tylenol and Motrin. That's what they give you. And I says, ow. Okay. I'm in pain. And I'm in the pain that most women are in, that they say is very normal. It's where you feel like your butthole and vagina are going to, like, the first time I got up to walk, I was like, I feel like, and they're like your vagina and your butthole are going to fall out. And I'm like, yes. They're like, very normal. Now, as you guys know, because I talk about it at length, I'm a hemorrhoid girly. Okay. I am. It's been my biggest fear with birth, but I always thought, like I said, that maybe I wouldn't push for that long. And so the hemorrhoids wouldn't be that crazy. So I pushed for 4.5 hours, and Taylor says to me, because I just asked her, I said, shoot me straight.
I won't lie as well, because I was down the business end for pretty much the whole thing.
I want to ask you about, because you were dead set on not looking good, but go ahead. Go ahead about my butthole.
No, I just thought, like everything else, I thought, yeah, this is, obviously happening, and this is amazing, and I can understand. And then I did there was a few times I would just look at your butthole and I just thought, sweet mother of God. That is going to be a long recovery process. Yeah.
So Taylor said at one point, Shannon, if you want me to shoot you straight, at one point it looked like a spiked wheel. Like just like the hemorrhoids being the spikes, I guess, and my butthole just being inside out. James said, I said, my butt hurts so bad. My vagina did not hurt at all. Like I was like, my butt. James is like, yeah, babe, I imagine so. It was inside out for 4.5 hours. And I was like, okay.
It's also just where all the pressure amounts to.
Yeah, because they say to like push from your butt.
Yeah,
they
and
say
also,
to push
and also your bum is not designed to give birth to a baby. You know, your vagina is, so that adapts. Your bum doesn't. It just
right. Bum doesn't dilate.
Force.
The bum does not dilate. I wish it did. So, anyways,
you were still though in the grand scheme of things, given like how long you were in labor for and all of that. You were like walking around. I mean, Shannon being Shannon, she couldn't sit still anyway. But you were walking around the house a lot sooner than I anticipated.
When we got home, I was walking like day 2 and stuff. Yeah. But here's the issue with walking. So after I got my catheter, I got something called a lazy bladder. Okay. And that is where your bladder and your urethra are so used to emptying like with the catheter that you can't hold your bladder. So when I tell you guys, I would stand up and my bladder would just empty. And I called the doctor. They're like, oh yeah, you have a lazy bladder from the catheter. And I'm like, lazy bladder. Perfect. I have a lazy bladder. I did not know how long that was going to last. Every time I got up, I would be literally holding my vagina. I'm wearing a hospital grade pad and diaper thing. It's soaking all the way through. I'm like, oh my God. And you can't help it. You're like, please, no. I'm almost at the toilet. Like I'm inches away from the toilet. My body's like, I don't give a fuck. Okay. We're literally peeing. We're peeing everything that we need to pee. And it was so frustrating because I just kept peeing my pants. Like I would have to change this medical grade diaper, hospital grade diaper so often because it was just filled with my whole bladder. That lasted 2 days. She got her bladder back.
It's just insane. It is just, I was just thinking about that. It's just insane what women, your bodies go through having a child. It is insane. Yes.
And then comes the recovery then comes the biggest fear of them all. And that is going poop for the first time. And I am so scared. That
was a dinner conversation for a few nights.
Yeah, I didn't go for 6 days. It got to the point where my mom and Taylor were like, it's time. I'm taking stool softeners in the hospital. I'm taking them before I gave birth. I'm taking them the whole time. I'm taking like 2 Colace a day, sometimes 3. I'm like preparing myself, but I'm still so scared that I think mentally I was kind of like really screwing myself up because I was so afraid to go to the bathroom for the first time. So finally I say, I'm just going to wait for the urge. I'm not going to try to force anything. I'm just going to wait for the urge. The urge happens. I go to the bathroom and ladies and gentlemen, this is fine. I do get a mirror. I said, this is all feeling so not right. This is all feeling so foreign. What's behind door number 3? Rectal prolapse. Okay. My bumhole, outside of my bumhole. The whole thing. Not the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A large portion of it. Okay. I'm asking our family doctor, ChatGPT. I say, what does this mean? And it says rectal prolapse, my girl. I then text my actual doctor. I think I have rectal prolapse.
You didn't tell me about that. Were you saving it for the podcast?
I told my mom.
Oh my gosh.
I made my mom come in and look in the mirror. She said, oh no. I said, how will the poop come out if the butt's already out? She said, I don't know. You need to ask your doctor.
Oh, this is mad.
So I'm like, okay, just sexy things. And that's why I'm like, honestly, the 4 hours of pushing, like whatever, like it was the butt stuff afterwards that I cared so deeply about. I will say the best news of it all, if you can imagine, there is some good news. The second that I did go to the bathroom, number 2, everything, it was like it needed to do that to do this. It went back up. Now, I do think every time I poop, it might come out back out a little bit, but like it really did exactly what it was supposed to do, to the point that I had messaged in the portal. I'd messaged in the portal, and by the time, like, it was like Murphy's Law. Like, by the time they'd messaged back, I was like, never mind. I've got a mirror on this thing, and we're not good, but we're progressing.
How is it to this day?
We're not good, but we're progressing. That's still the sentiment.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the sort of recovery time?
I'm on so much Colace that could take out a fucking small elephant. Like, I am going through.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're taking about 8 pills a day.
I had to Google.
Half of them are that.
I had to like Google like, when is too much Colace? Like, can you, like, is there a recommended dosage that you need to stop? Like, and it literally is like, no, queen, you can take it forever. Like, honestly, do. Like, you're fucked.
See, Daisy, see what your mum went through to give you birth.
Everything for you, baby. Now, I want you to talk about, before we wrap this up, I want you to talk about how you said you were not planning to be on the business end side of things. He was very adamant. And by the way, I knew. I was like, he's not going to be able to help himself. He's going to go look. But I did say, if you fuck around and faint or do some shit for attention that like gets the attention off me,
that was
I'm
my
gonna
deepest
freak
fear.
The fuck out.
That was my deepest fear.
I did think that would happen with me with Taylor. I thought, I'm going to pass out. I'm so squeamish. And then I saw it and I didn't. Yeah. But I didn't know your levels of squeamishness. And I thought, if he makes this about him, I'm
it's this thing of like, when you watch stuff on TV, you know, like when you're watching those shows and then someone's getting operated on and it makes your sort of toes go numb and I feel a bit faint when I see that. But when it's, and I didn't want to do that because I knew you would probably have a go at me if I did pass out.
What point did you decide to look?
Oh, it was pretty quick.
Curiosity.
It was when you'd been pushing and your epidural had just kind of kicked back in, because I was like, right, I want to see like if anything's actually happening down here, and obviously at that point couldn't see the head or anything, so I was like, I don't really know why I'm down here, but I'm down here now, and it's and it's great.
It's just not what you think it is.
It's not. It's because it's such a normal like facet of life, and it's so like it's in our DNA, and it's just biology. Like, I was just looking at you, like it was just pure biology, and you just giving birth, and it doesn't, you know, when you're in that,
the gross factor's not there.
When you're in that environment, A, it doesn't look like it normally does, but B,
that's the other thing. It
your
just
body
does not look like your
it's just,
vagina. It looks like a giant swollen flower.
I had no kind of connection in that sense.
Yeah, it's probably because you don't look at it the same way that you look at her otherwise.
I wasn't horny. Yeah. Put it that way.
That'd be different conversations we'd be having if you were. Okay.
Yeah, but it was great. And also I felt like I felt like I would learn more and I would have more of a responsibility and a duty if I was down that end, because I could actually see what the nurses were doing, what they were talking about, if
were really
things were happening. So it was great. I saw the whole thing. And then when Daisy was actually coming out, that was the most incredible thing I've seen in my whole life.
Really? They asked me right when her head was coming out, they're like, do you want a mirror? And I was like, still no.
And
then when her head was crowning, they're like, do you want to touch your baby?
Just the way they take her out. And
I felt so bad saying this. I go, not yet. Because I was like, it was happening to me. And I was like, I can't, like, I'm afraid I'll if I'm like, ugh, I was like,
it was incredible. And then when, 2 people in the room and then 4, and then suddenly there's like 10 people in the room and they're all just
crazy,
passing stuff, doing this and this. It was just incredible.
It is truly like the movies. Like all of a sudden there's just like everyone in the room and they're all doing stuff. And like my placenta, I encapsulated my placenta. I am taking it. I don't know. I'm feeling good. So.
Yeah, that as well. The placenta coming out, just everything. I mean, it was just incredible. I would, hopefully get to do it a few more times, and maybe the baby will be smaller, or you just won't take as much epidural.
I actually don't mind having a big baby. I feel like having a big baby has been really lovely.
It's great off the front end because they just sleep and eat a bit better, I feel.
You never know. That just like...
Well, no, but there's more of them, so...
There's
not as many risks.
I had more... There's more of them. You mean like, I just
as in there's 9 pounds of them, not 7 pounds of them.
We literally have one baby. But,
stomach just a little bit bigger.
I had a lot less anxiety because I know like a lot of babies can like lose a lot of weight when they leave. I was like, we're in the green. I didn't have a 6-pound baby that was withering down to 4 pounds.
Right,
So
exactly, because that's when sometimes medical intervention has to come in.
Well, I think that's also, I really wanted to breastfeed, and I was like really worried that I wouldn't be able to feed, you know, like my milk actually took 3 to almost 4 days to come in. Most women's come after like 2 days, 3 days. I mean, I guess I was like kind of average, but I was just like really pressured, putting pressure on myself about being able to feed her. And like, listen, all babies lose weight after they leave the hospital, but I was just like a lot less stressed because I was like, we're working down from 9. She's got time.
Yeah, we got some wiggle room.
She's okay.
I think as well, one of the biggest lessons that maybe we've taken from all of this is, you know, obviously with birth and with science, there's always textbook time frames and things that you have to do, but actually, you know, if you think about it, every human is different, every baby is different.
Of course.
Sometimes things will take a little bit longer. We were worried that, you know, you weren't getting your milk quick enough and she was going to have to go on formula, but actually, you know, your milk came literally the next day and then she was feeding super well. So like all these things you kind of work yourself up about, but then you realize A, your baby's going to be fine, but B, every baby's different. So don't stress about
I had to, like,
textbook things that you're not sticking
force myself to stop like looking stuff up because
exactly.
There is a textbook answer for everything.
Because they're like, even with me, they're like, your baby should be putting this color on these days, this color on this days. And Daisy was just a little bit behind, but then it all came out. Remember, she didn't poo for 24 hours.
She didn't poo for 24 hours and I was freaking out.
And then she did 4 shits in 6 hours.
We were literally doing rain dances for her to poop, and then she just like pooped like a crazy amount. And like when I talk to other people about that, not just like doctors and stuff, they're like, girl, everyone has a story like that happened to me. Like you got to put faith in the baby.
But if you look something like
scared,
you look something like up like that, which we did. If your baby hasn't pooped for 24 hours, this is emergency, taken to hospital.
Yeah, it's like your baby needs to have pooped,
yeah.
and I'm like, but it hasn't. Like, anyways, there's so many things you can like stress yourself out about. There was one more thing I wanted to. Oh, I did want to say. I'm sorry to call you out like this, and I could have sworn. Much like the conversation I had with you about wiping from back to front, I could have sworn that I had told you that like when babies come out, that their heads can be like
No one told me that. No one told me that, guys. I was, for about 5 seconds, I thought, oh no.
Wait, keep in mind, because you guys know, if you're a woman listening to this, you know babies come out of the birth canal and their heads can be a bit coned, right? Because they just squeezed out of a birth canal. Now picture a baby sitting in said birth canal for 4 hours. Our girl
it was a traffic cone.
It was such a cone. And the craziest thing.
No, but it was when the nurses kept going, here's a hat, put a hat on. And
I was like, where are we putting that hat on?
No, and I just thought, oh no, what happened to our poor baby's head?
It was probably he gave me about 10 minutes and then he goes, baby, her head. And I go, oh my God, she's in my birth canal for 4 hours.
But because it was such a beautiful moment, I kept just thinking, maybe we just have a deformed baby with her head. And maybe that's just, and I just have to accept that that's going to be my child.
Don't say deformed. Basically, what's crazy to me is, well, also, by the way, a couple of nurses were like, don't freak out. Her head is like, and I was like, guys, I have eyes. Like I see it. But it's so crazy. We were in the hospital for 1 day. Her head was almost back to normal within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then it just like goes away.
It's just, it's just like so
swelling
squidgy.
or fluid.
Fluid.
It's just like the perfect little round. Taylor came over, I guess, day 2 or 3, and she goes, her head, it's so perfect and cute and round. And I was like, we had a long way to go. But it was funny. Yeah. If you are a woman and you're about to give birth, please preface to your husband that their heads can
please do, because I didn't. After all that.
So that's my birth story. And yeah, everything, like I said, is coming of roses, coming of daisies. She's been wonderful. We've been really lucky. You know, she's 2 weeks and 1 day old. So I'm going to knock on all the wood when I say that. I know babies are ever changing and they say, don't ever talk about how your baby's a good sleeper because then she won't be a good sleeper. But these last 2 weeks, and everyone says it over and over and over and over, but all everyone ever says is like, oh my gosh, those 3 weeks. They all say 3 weeks. Is she not a newborn after 3 weeks? 4 weeks? I don't know. But everyone is like, oh, there's my girl. I need to feed her. Everyone says like this time flies by. You're delirious. You're so tired, but you don't get that back. And you only ever have one baby one time. And this is our time. So I'm just so happy. We're so thrilled. Everything's going great. Thank you for listening. I have to feed my daughter. James,
thanks for listening.
It's going to go handle some stuff with the nursery.
Back to baby duties.
Love you so much. Bye.